Imagine a world where the everyday choices you make, the things you buy, and even the way you think are not entirely your own, where invisible walls dictate more than just movement, but quietly reshape the fabric of daily life. This is not simply about being cut off from the outside world. Isolation does more than limit where people can go. Over time, it alters how societies function, how value is defined, and how survival itself is organized. When access to information, resources, and mobility is heavily restricted, everyday life begins to operate under an entirely different set of rules. Across the world, there exist closed systems, where control extends far beyond borders and into the smallest details of human behavior. One of the most closely observed examples of such a system is North Korea. It is often discussed in terms of missiles, sanctions, or geopolitical tension. But in this video, we are looking at something different. Rather than viewing it as a political flashpoint, we examine North Korea as a living system shaped by decades of long-term isolation, a system where ordinary people adapt, day by day, to conditions they did not choose and cannot easily escape. In closed systems, daily life becomes highly localized. People rely more heavily on immediate relationships, familiar routines, and tightly knit social circles. To navigate uncertainty, access to essential goods becomes inconsistent. Items considered ordinary elsewhere may become critically important, not because they are rare globally, but because local availability is limited. Over time, people stop expecting formal systems to reliably meet all their needs. Instead, they develop a strong capacity to improvise, finding solutions where none officially exist. When formal economic structures become restrictive or unreliable, informal alternatives emerge. Small-scale trade, personal bartering, and unofficial markets begin to support daily survival. This is not always an act of political resistance. More often, it is a practical response to uncertainty and scarcity, where flexibility becomes more valuable than strict compliance. Prolonged isolation also reshapes social behavior. Trust becomes selective. Information travels quietly through personal networks rather than open public channels. People grow increasingly cautious in how they speak and act, not out of suspicion, but because small mistakes can carry serious consequences. Over time, isolation reshapes expectations. When choices remain limited for long periods, people adjust their sense of what is normal and what is possible. From a systems perspective, isolation creates its own internal logic. Life continues, not efficiently or comfortably, but sustainably enough to persist. Closed systems endure not only through control, but through human adaptation, through unofficial pathways that allow daily life to function within rigid constraints. Understanding life inside closed systems requires looking beyond headlines and ideology, and it raises a broader question. If isolation can reshape everyday life so deeply, what happens when similar pressures begin to appear elsewhere? If you found this exploration thought-provoking, consider liking the video and subscribing for more deep dives into the systems that shape our world.